Hey, everybody, it's your boy John / Captain Glastash here. On today's episode of Geeks From The Multiverse podcast, we're going to be talking about the ultimate New Year's bash. So basically, we're going to be talking about who we think are going to be, the best host, DJ, or even bartend at this special event that we have on New Year's Eve. So stay tuned.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Geeks From The Multiverse podcast. I am one of your hosts, Matt, a.k.a. Mr. Grumpy Beard, and with me
is always Johnny Boy here, a.k.a. Captain Listache, as we all like to say. Yes, so real quick. So, you know what? I'm going to do it this time. Yes, guys, again, give us that little fist bump, okay? You're going to do that little follow, interact, subscribe, tell your friends, go on YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Facebook, any freaking social media method, a freaking pigeon carrier. I don't care. Just let us know, man.
Well, I don't think you want to fist bump a pigeon.
I mean, you could. I mean, you could probably kill it, but you might kill it. No, I mean, but again, reach out to us. We've talked about it before. We, email, all these other things. I mean, I can't tell you. I mean, you can walk up to me and say, hey, man, like your shit. Oh, thanks, bud. Appreciate that. That's great. Or, hey, here's a piece of mail. Oh, even better. Can't wait if we ever got fan mail, but, that might never happen. Who knows? Yeah, because, technology, like who cares, right?
Yeah.
But anyways.
But it is, it does mean a lot to us if, like, you're listening on YouTube, click the follow button, click the subscribe button. If you do want the notifications when our episodes drop, click that bell button, leave a comment on our episodes. You can do that in Spotify. You can do that in YouTube. You can
do it pretty much anywhere.
We want those comments. We want to know what you guys are thinking. If you have a particular comment on something that we say in the episode, let us know. Like, we want to know these things. If you have a particular thing on, like maybe, one of the debates on even last episode or this episode, like, hey, you guys could have mentioned this for the band or this character for a DJ, like it would have been perfect. Mention it in the comments. Like, we love to hear this. We could debate it in the comments. Like,
we could. We can even go further. Hell, you want to go down the rabbit hole? Just check out the whole Terminator and... No, I'm joking. Don't do that. That's probably one episode I would recommend not doing if you just... Unless you're bored as hell. I mean, yeah. But just don't do it just because. Anyways,
yeah. I do want to say this, we did, we did just get past Christmas. So if you, we hope that you had a great Christmas and moving towards New Year's, which is,
you're right around the corner,
right, a couple days away. And, so we are, we're kind of doing a similar thing to what we did for Christmas, but, we're not saving anybody. We're not going on, we're not sending any geeky people to a rescue to save New Year's. No. We wanted to get all of our geeky characters together for a party. And We're like, okay, well, really, what do we need for a party, right? Like, we need a DJ, maybe a band. We need a party host. We need somebody to cater the event because we need food, right? Like,
we need to make sure that there's plenty of hungry people out there, man. We need to make sure they're all fed.
We need a bartender. Like, we need drinks. We need to get our drink on.
But the best part, I would say, is also the location. Because
right.
You need to know where that party's at.
We need a location. But who is the real question? And this is where we're going to really get down to the nitty-gritty. Like, who do we want to DJ? Who do we want to be the party host? Who do we want to cater the event? Who do we want as a bartender? What band do we want to play? These are the questions that we're going to debate, and hopefully we can come up with one singular answer.
Yes, and not multiple.
Not multiple.
Co-captain, no nothing.
Because we really don't want to have like multiple DJs fighting or multiple bands fighting for the stage or multiple party hosts, because then that gets confusing. multiple caterers. Like, no, we just want one singular. Hopefully we can agree.
We'll agree. Don't worry. This one I'll say we'll get a little bit better. And also we won't get as sidetracked because I know in the beginning of last episode we were talking about fantasy football. I mentioned a little shout out there. This time we're going to get into the real nitty gritty of really what's going on with the New Year's stuff.
So I mean we're going to start off right here with options for DJ, and I think I'm just going to go. I'm not going to read the characters like we did the last one. I'm just going to go through it and read the character and the kind of strengths and weaknesses and go through all of them. And then we can kind of just talk about which ones, right?
Okay.
Like
if that's what you want to do.
I think just kind of going through them and, we can kind of determine from all of them which ones kind of we want to do. So these are the options for our DJ. Johnny Silverhand, he is from Cyberpunk. If you've never played the game, he is a musician. He knows music. He's kind of an asshole in the game. I mean, that might be putting it a little bit lightly. But he does know how to party. Maybe a little too hard, but he does know how to party. And then I think with the tech from Cyberpunk, he can hack and play and do a lot of things that would not be possible that, other people could do. Like I said, though, he does have a negative attitude. And the other question is, would he stay the whole time or would he just kind of go?
See, and it just reminds me of like the whole Gandalf thing. Is he gonna flake? Is he gonna really help?
Would he even show up? Who knows?
Right. So for me, I'm gonna say no.
Yes. I think if he did show up, I think he could be a lot of fun.
I think he might be and now if you're like, hey, you want to do some drugs, man? Like he would be that kind of DJ. You want to get your drug? Can I talk to him? I would just say overall, no.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
It would be tricky, but we got Star-Lord from Marvel, obviously Guardians of the Galaxy. Although not technically like a DJ or a musician, he does have pretty good taste in music. Yeah, I would say the Guardians of the Galaxy, like the soundtrack was, primarily like his playlist, like the tapes that he was listening to.
I mean, granted, we're talking about all 80s music at this point, but yes.
True. I mean, it is a good playlist for a party, don't get me wrong.
True.
But he does also have the personality and charisma to keep a party going. He doesn't have the technical expertise to be like a DJ. And, he might also get kind of sidetracked or talk too much and be an idiot.
Well, that's the thing about a DJ. You don't want to be, of course you want to talk to people. You want to make sure the songs keep going. You got the vibe going. You got all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you do have to kind of keep that schedule. You have to keep up with it. And I think he would be like squirrel, and just like run off and go do something else. So this next one, I know you and I talked about a little bit, Soundwave. So if you don't know Transformers or especially like the TV show, whatever, he's the one that is very monotone, doesn't really have a personality. He doesn't really do a whole lot besides really communications piece. Now, granted, if you wanted to steal like a what was it, like an uplink, like satellite uplink or some shit, he's your guy. He's the guy that you want to make sure anything like intercepts that piece of it. But because he's a Decepticon, granted he is considered evil in a sense, he does transform, yes, in the original, into a micro cassette recorder. And this was the original like TV show. And yes, and as large speakers and whatnot. Now, granted, in the newer movies, like I wouldn't say live action, but like, Michael Bay version, like he's basically a satellite in space. And he just sits there, just waiting for communications to come through. But it says, in the Decepticon's communications officer, he can receive all kinds of transmissions from all over the planet and possibly beyond it. Lacks personality, and again, is a Decepticon. So again, he's going to be evil. I don't think really, especially with the people we're about to probably choose, I don't think he's the best fit. I mean, it would be cool because yes, he can turn into large speakers. That's great. But I think because he has no personality, is evil, I don't think he's going to keep the party going. I think he's just going to be very boring and not really giving it all he got.
I think it's because he can receive any kind of transmission, there's a possibility, but I think just the robotic nature of the voice, it's really, really tough.
No, I'm going to say,
SpongeBob SquarePants, he's kind of an idiot,
Yes, he is. He is a complete idiot.
he has done many musical numbers on the show. He could be capable of performing as a DJ, but would he be too silly or annoying? Yeah, he fucking would be.
He would be really annoying, and I don't think many people would take him seriously.
It would just be like the whole fucking time. Like that's all you would hear all the fucking time. And it would just be like, the whole time. Like,
I'm sorry. See, the best part is I get to see Matt doing this, and it's funny as hell when he goes, I
think you did it much better than I
don't know. But yes, the best one. Now I know we're going to talk about that, of course. But
I think the best one by far is the genie from Aladdin. Like, because limited powers, could do anything, crazy high charisma, electric personality.
Well, not only that. Okay, if we're just talking about the character, now granted, if we're talking not live action, not Will Smith, because trust me, live action. Will Smith was great.
Yeah,
but I was saying Robin Williams with his voice and everything.
Yes,
he hands down. Like, he could get a party going and he can continue to go. The fact that he has powers beyond belief and literally could do whatever he wanted. And yes, of course he can make the party like a reality. He can make things happen like nobody else could.
Yes. Yeah.
So yes, I would say, Matt and I agree that for the DJ, we want Aladdin. I mean, the genie. Sorry, not Aladdin.
Yes. No. Aladdin would... No. Get the fuck out
Aladdin,
of here, kid.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Aladdin, no. But genie, yes. We want
the genie, yes. The genie, yes. Even though the genie's also not like a musician, but like just with the powers that he possesses, that's who I would want to have like as, a DJ. I think he would be like the most, capable of doing that.
Well, and not only that, I mean, if when you're talking about music, you want to keep the party going. And I think with him, I feel like he could read the room. You know what I mean? Like I think he's definitely one that he could be like, all right, I got this. And he can make the vibe happen and it just keep it going. Yes. The downfall for him is just,
there is one character.
Oh, sorry.
That's a little bit further down, not in this category.
Ooh.
He's in the option for party host, but only when he is the mask.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean,
but I have him in there for party host and not for DJ.
I mean, I could see why you're saying that, but I feel like he'd be a little too much for being a DJ. Like a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of the musical numbers, like the and he's like dancing through the streets and all that shit. I could see that, but it's like Squirrel, like Star-Lord. He'd be all over the place and he wouldn't actually keep, everything moving along. Yeah. But yes, I think we both can agree that the genie is the definite choice here.
So, okay, we got the DJ, so we got the genie. Let's go options for the band. And
these are some interesting ones because
there are some interesting ones, and there are ones that I don't like because I think there's some that would be really boring and not for me. And I'm going to start with those ones. And yes, we are talking about having a live band on stage, and we're talking about having a DJ as well. I'm going to talk about this one because I am a huge Star Wars fan, but I think for a New Year's party, they would be boring.
Are you saying? You mean those guys?
The Figrin, Dan, and the modal nodes.
Yeah.
If you don't know what they are, these are the Star Wars Cantina band.
Yeah. So it's like that continuous loop. I mean, basically, that's the band he's talking about. I agree.
I think they're just not. I mean, are they talented enough to do party music?
Sure.
And make it interesting? Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think
they're not singing. That's the thing.
It's just not interesting enough, and I think it would be boring for a party. Like, you want something that's not like, music that could be, they would be perfect for like a cruise. Like, you're on a cruise and like, you're eating
a bar,
you're eating dinner and like, you're listening to like instrumental music and that's like the shit that you want to hear. But like we want music, that people are going to like dance to. And
I originally thought you were going to be like, yeah, we want to get boogie, we want to boogie down with that, your bad self.
But that's what we want. Like, we want people, like, we want music that like from a band where people are going to be like dancing and having a good time. And this is a band they're not going to be dancing to. It's just going to be like, oh, this is cool. Like, let's continue our conversation. That's what's going to happen.
I feel like you're going to mention this next one, and I already know it's probably going to be towards the bottom of this list.
Oh yeah, and the other one, although it's interesting to me.
Yep.
And as much as I like the Chipmunks, it's going to be a no for me because it's Alvin and the Chipmunks, and I don't know. I just don't think like they're serious enough, and it's just like it. I just don't. I don't know.
No, I agree.
Not for a party.
It's too much because now you're hearing the Christmas, like I'm not saying like that, but like that little that very high pitched, very squeaky.
I don't know.
I know what you mean.
There's one band on this list, and I don't know if you agree, but there's one band I think I want to see.
Okay. Is it Josie and the Pussycats?
No. It's definitely fucking not Josie and the
Pussycats. That was the one you were going with.
There are two, and they're highlighted.
Oh, I know which ones you're talking about. Then
there's one band on this list.
Yep.
That I think is the only band that is the only band that is actually in like the most complete and in existence, which is the Blues Brothers.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that would be the band that I would like to choose personally to be the ones that actually do it, because these guys, I mean, granted, they do sort of have a band. I mean, they do kind of make their own songs, but a lot of it's really covers. Like a lot of what they do is covers and like.
For a party, that's perfect.
Oh, no, that's what I mean. Yeah. Like having them and like, them singing like basically 70s blues and soul.
But where they are, I mean, they've had Stevie, I mean, in the movie, Stevie Wonder, and they've had all these people in the movie like joining them.
Oh, yeah. So this would be great, especially having guests and whatnot.
I mean, the other option was Josie and the Pussycats, and not that they're not great, but it's a teenage all-girl pop band.
Well, I remember and the only reason why I remember this is because it was, again, cartoons and all this other crap. It was Josie and the Pussycats, and you're like, wait a minute, why are we? That's just weird. It's just like that's the theme to that.
Even though they did a movie.
Yes, they did.
And
I'm already looking at Matt's face. Matt's face.
No.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
If you take the original show aired in the 70s. Mm-hmm. Would they still? I mean, we're taking the original show, not the shitty ass fucking movie that they did. No.
Sorry.
The original show aired in the 70s. Would they still be relevant today?
No.
Or would they be like in that 70s? Like, no, I don't think they would. And I think you're right. But pop in the 70s was not popping in the 80s, 90s, and
definitely not today.
So I think they're out, just like the Star Wars Cantina band, and just like Alvin and the Chipmunks. And the other band was Wild Stallions. Now, in the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Bill and Ted were not good at playing guitar at all. They were not even a band.
No, they were just two dudes playing in a garage, basically. But yeah.
Were they too rock heavy? I think that they would be too rock heavy. And even when they were in the future, the music wasn't really great music either.
No, because I think it was in the new movie that they were versing each other, and I thought like their future selves or whatever, they had like a band, if I wasn't mistaken, or something like that. But you're right. They knew, I guess in some ways, how to rock and roll, but just not enough to make good music.
Are they charismatic? Yes. They have a time machine, so they did teach themselves how to play guitar. They learned how to, but I think they would be too rock heavy. So I think Blues Brothers, and I think we definitely both agree that Blues Brothers is the best.
No, and I think granted, unfortunately, one of them passed away a while back. But I mean, if we could bring him back from the dead just for this party, absolutely. It was the Belushi. It was Jim, right? Is it Jim Belushi or was it no?
John
Belushi. That's right. You're right. Sorry, I had to think about that for a second. But yes, John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, right? So like Dan Aykroyd, Ghostbusters, that kind of thing. They did really wonderful in the set of series of movies. But like, I'm telling you, you got to have John Belushi in this because you couldn't have him without the other. So
yeah, I think live or dead. I think we're just talking the.
I know. I
think we're just talking the characters. Yeah.
So yes. So now party host. Now this is what Matt was talking about, where I think this is going to get a little interesting.
No, it's gonna. Yeah, this is definitely interesting, especially who we have in the category.
So, for example, right. So we're going to start. We got Tony Stark, right. So being Marvel, again, he's a rich billionaire playboy, also known as Iron Man. Has an ego, but he, again, loves a good party as well. Just like this next one, Bruce Wayne, DC Comics, right? So rich, same basically thing as Tony Stark, but again, darker personality, tends to keep to himself. Could he leave the party to do Batman-related work? Absolutely, because that's generally what Batman does, and / him. And then, you got Stanley Ipkiss in The Mask. So again, granted, when he transforms into The Mask, he's highly charismatic, cartoonish, and anything can be possible. But on the flip side, he could also single-handedly run the whole party himself if he chose, because he can animate and alter himself and his surroundings at will. So again, because, later on you find out that it's Loki's mask, and that's what the god of mischief and so forth, like that's what he does and how he manipulates it. So yes, I mean, it could be interesting, but I don't know how well you would see, him being the DJ, like I said before. Like it's just not going to work out that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you look at the person Stanley, as the Mask.
Yes.
Yes. I think he has the capability. Obviously, yes, as the Mask, highly charismatic, cartoonish. You look at, anything that he can do is possible. So being able to be a host of the party and, making sure like the guests are happy and doing, what is necessary. Yes. Now, as the Mask, and knowing that it's Loki's mask, and knowing that he's the god of mischief, that's iffy to me. That's what makes it iffy to me.
Yeah, and I think it's just too much for I'm sorry, for the party to go on. I think he honestly would probably make it too much for everybody to want to be there.
Yeah,
and he would, I think, make people leave. And then really the last person.
Well, there's two left. So
what do you mean? What's the other one? Oh, okay, never mind.
He's on the next page, but so I'll go into this one because this one was one of our iffy ones on the last episode, and
I don't say.
So we got Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty, and this is always one of our dark horses because are you going to get a good Rick Sanchez, or are you going to get a real
weird, shitty one?
Shitty Rick, drunk, selfish Rick Sanchez, but. Armed with his portal gun, he could obtain just about anything from any alternate universe. Or he can just invent anything. So nothing is off the table for a New Year's Eve party. I think when it comes to a mission and saving somebody, I think, no. I think when it comes to a party...
Oh, he definitely knows how to.
I think Rick Sanchez is game.
Oh, absolutely. I think he is game. And
is he going to party too hard?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But I think you're talking a New Year's party.
Do you want a memorable one, or do you want a shitty one?
Can you party too hard? Yes. But I think you have booze. I think you have a person with a portal gun that can obtain just about anything. I think Rick Sanchez is in the running.
I think he's in the running, but I don't know yet. I mean, it depends on how we want to play this. So that's why I'm saying we gotta let's mention the last one, Mr. Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother. So again, well connected, prefers to be around people, and loves to have fun. One of his catchphrases is legendary. Oh, is it? Oh, just legendary, like that.
Legend. Dairy.
Oh, okay, sorry. Sorry, that was the way. Yeah, he is also a womanizer. That is definitely correct. And again, so would he abandon his duties as a party host for a woman? Absolutely, yes, he would, because he would be, I'm pretty sure in one of the episodes, he dressed up as an old man telling this woman that he said, you're going to see a younger version of myself, and you're going to have sex with him, because that's the man who's going to save the world. And like, he basically made this woman believe that was the case. And then all of a sudden he shows up in his normal outfit or whatever. And then she's like, oh, hey, let's go back to your place. I'm like, what? And he would do something stupid like that. And you're like, okay, well, see, this is my point. I wouldn't want to have him as a party host. It's like, clearly you need to attend to guests and other shit like that too. I don't need you to be worried about having sex with literally every woman that you fucking see after every moment. But
no, I mean, I think as far as him putting on a party, making sure that there's enough, drinks and food and, the band is set up. Like, I think as far as making sure the party is legendary, like, I would trust Barney Stinson to do that. The question really is, like, could I trust Stanley Ipkiss to do that as the Mask? No, I can't. Now, Tony Stark, I could trust to do that.
See, and this is where
Bruce Wayne, I could trust to do that, but could I trust Bruce Wayne to stick around?
Right. So this is me.
Yes, I could, but if he's needed as Batman, he's leaving.
Right. So right now, this is just me. It's either between Tony Stark or Rick Sanchez. Those are the two that I would be.
So you would not go Barney Stinson at all?
No, I think he's too much of a liability in that sense because I think he would be way too distracted. I know what you're saying about the legendary piece of this and all this other stuff. I think because he would be more focusing on getting laid and trying to get women's numbers than trying to do his actual job as a party host. I would say,
you know what? I mean, I'm going to go with a dark horse, and I'm going to lean Rick Sanchez, only because this is a party, bro. Like, and
yeah, and this is why I said it's between the Tony Stark, Rick Sanchez. But if we're going to go with it, I'm going to go with Rick Sanchez as well. And I would say,
not that I don't like Tony Stark, but I think when it comes to a party, I think Rick Sanchez can party.
And we're trying to get some interesting people. So you know what? Let's get Rick Sanchez. So we both agree that Rick Sanchez is going to be the party host,
and he can get booze that's on different portals that can probably fuck you up in like one sip.
Oh yeah, and that's my point. Like literally, you got it, we name it, let's do it. Yeah. We got this going.
Yeah. So I think Rick Sanchez is like the option here because I think, like I said, I mean, he can. I mean, at this point, like he could invent shit that's like. Nothing is off the table. Like he can make robotic prostitutes if he wanted to. Like nothing is too crazy. I think when you have a Rick Sanchez party, like you know what I mean. Like
oh yeah,
like this is like I mean this party is going weird. Like it's going weird.
So again, every good party you need catering, man, or you need food. Because I'm telling you, people get hungry at these parties, and they're 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 drinking, they're all.
I have a favorite for this one too, but.
Oh, I already have a strange. I mean, I have one, but we're going to see how well we match up a little bit. But so some of the choices here, and I'm going to go a little differently this time. Yes, I'm going to choose the names, and then we'll go into it individually. Mm-hmm. So we got Shaggy and Scooby Doo. Reggie, and then you got Gronk from Emperor's New Groove, and then. Bob Belcher from Bob's Burgers, and then the Krusty Krab crew really being SpongeBob. So
is mayonnaise an instrument?
No, Patrick, mayonnaise is not an instrument, and neither is horseradish. Ooh, the owner of the white sedan, you left your lights on. Sorry, if you don't know what we're talking about, then sorry, you just need to go look on a rock. Yeah. So anyway, Shaggy and Scooby Doo. Right. These guys, this is where I'm really kind of digging a little bit of this because, yes, they love anything having to do with food. Yes, now they may eat 50% of the food. You're right. But here's the thing, though. The only thing about them that is going to be a little strange, you can add this too, is that they add weird shit. Like when they have like a burger, it's like you add peanut butter, jelly, weird shit, pickles. And I mean, anything that they could find, they just throw it into a sandwich. And it is weird, but I feel like they would be interesting enough in some ways to be, creative in their own kind of way. But you're right. I mean, now I have to worry about, are we going to have enough food? Because are these guys going to eat them like entire food, or are they going to eat like certain things or whatever? I would,
like Shaggy and Scooby, like, like I think, I don't know if it was like, I think it was Subway, where you used to be able to like order like those like, I don't even know like how long.
Oh, I know.
Like,
it's like 32 feet or like whatever. It's a giant ass.
Those giant ass subs. Like
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Shaggy and Scooby would probably order like 10 of those,
Just for themselves.
And it would just be for themselves.
Not for anybody else. But
now,
just for
could you imagine if you were if we have the party host, which is now Rick Sanchez, going to them and being like, hey, we need you to order these for, 10,000 guests.
Right.
Don't worry about money. Like I'll steal it from another multiverse.
Well,
don't worry about it. Like, don't worry about it, guys. Like, I'll get it. Like, don't worry about it.
Never mind. I'm not going to mention the video. I was thinking about the video.
But like these guys would order like 50,000 of these, but like,
yeah. No, I know what you're about to say. I think the biggest piece to this too is,
and they'd eat half of them.
Well, no, I mean, so like the realization is that if they did end up running it low on food, I feel like Rick would kind of like step in and like still find other things to like make sure. But the issue is
he would just make a machine to make them.
But he don't know. But yeah, either that or what they should do, or really what Rick should do is like make sure Shaggy and Scooby have their own supply, and then basically just make sure that they have all the food that they need to have, to make sure that they have it. But
he would dedefinitely send the Meeseeks to just.
Oh my God, probably
at this rate, yeah.
And then you got Gronk, right? So I mean, he's already a good cook. He's an interesting one. I mean, because he's like, poison for Cusco. Cusco is poison. You know what I mean? I think for his sake,
Poison
I mean,
for Cusco,
is it poison for Cusco?
But like, you have to like, would the food that he would make, like spinach puffs, like I get it, like they might be good, but like, would the stuff that he makes, like, would people actually like them? Like,
I mean, it depends. I mean, I could say, I think the problem is we only get to see him so much like cooking certain things. It's not like he's cooking everything. So he may be a great cook, but we just don't know what his extent is.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? We only know what he's made and like certain things like that, but we don't exactly know like where's his limitations when it comes to cooking. So he might be up there, but the next one being like Bob Belcher, right? He owns his own burger restaurant,
Bob's Burgers, if you don't know who Bob Belcher is.
Yes. And then, you got burgers that are always different and have fun, creative names, right? And so this is where it can get a little tricky, right? So, yes, his family are his basically employees. And, could he keep up with the amount of guests that they're there? So now, again, I'll mention the whole 10,000 thing. That's a lot of food, or at least for a cook or a few cooks.
For somebody who, he's the sole cook of these burgers. Like,
right. And we're also talking about his restaurant is really not that big. It's not
it's very, very small. And you're looking at like his wife, Linda, is probably the most like airheaded woman.
Oh, absolutely.
And his kids are not helpful.
Nope.
They're not helpful at all. So it's really just Bob. And he is not going to cook 10,000 burgers.
No, he's going to complain about it for every 10,000 times he's going to do it. Now,
I mean, obviously Kronk and Bob are out.
Yes. Now, the last one being SpongeBob. I mean, this guy has proven.
Well, this is the Krusty Krab crew.
Well,
so this would be all of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, the problem is really it's only going to be Squidward and SpongeBob because Mr. Krabs is just kind of sitting in his office counting his money every day.
Well, and this is where, I mean, those kind of are the negative things about it. But yeah, keep going with the.
So yes, of course you got SpongeBob on the grill, which again, he could definitely provide for the party with the food. One thing about SpongeBob is that he is passionate about Krabby Patties. So ensuring everyone at the party gets, got one. And I doubt, of course, there would be any issues, but right, what I just mentioned about Mr. Krabs, would he try to charge people the amount?
He 100% would. Yeah,
he would be like $100,000 for a Krabby Patty, and you're like, get the hell out of here! I won't be paying that. And then, like again with Plankton, right? Because every time you see him, he always tries to steal the
Krabby Patty formula.
Ravioli, give me the formula. Just something stupid like that. But no, like for me, I look at SpongeBob. Now, there was one episode I remember a while back that he did. It was a cooking competition with Trident.
Yes.
And he made that only one burger. And then, of course, Trident made that shit ton of burgers and did all that. And he made that one burger. And of course, he gave it to him. And then he starts eating it. And he's like, oh, I'm going to regurgitate and eat it again. And so and he just puts it right back in his mouth and does the same thing. And he's like, I think we're like, well, we all get the point. And he's like, oh, well, this is the best burger I've ever had. Now, I think the problem with SpongeBob is he's quick. I'm not saying he's not. I just don't know exactly how fast he's going to be. If we're talking 10,000 people, that is a lot to do. And I mean a lot to do. I mean, he would have to have a very, very, it would be like quick. It wouldn't just be like he wouldn't be stopping. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that Shaggy and them are any better, but it's hard, man. I mean, if we're talking a large amount of guests.
I mean, we're talking a large amount of guests.
It's really hard to decide.
It's really tough because
I think if we're talking about fun and originality.
How are Shaggy and Scooby going to get the food? I mean, that's really the question of Bob, he's going to be cooking the food. The Krusty Krab crew, they're going to be cooking the food. Kronk would be cooking the food. Shaggy, basically, they're going to be, I'm assuming basically being like a DoorDash. Like they would have to go buy the food and then bringing it back.
Or like I said, Rick would have to set that up for him and then, be able to, figure out that piece in the kitchen. I will say both SpongeBob and Shaggy and Scooby, they're very creative. They can be very creative and they can do all that. And it's great. But again, it's also about functionality, originality, stuff that you would want to have at a party where, when you have a lot of guests and you're like, people are waiting to have food. You don't want to wait too long because, like I said, SpongeBob was known to make Krabby Patties pretty quickly. But again, we don't know really what a Krabby Patty tastes like, because we don't live under the sea. So are they going to really like that too? So just for the sake of the argument, I'm just going to go with Shaggy and Scooby.
I'm leaning towards Shaggy and Scooby because, again, you also look at the show and Mr. Krabs is a
cheapskate.
I could see him trying to charge people after, going through the party and
oh, hey, how was that $100,000 burger you just had? And you're like, whoa, hey, that's not what.
But I could see, you have the Krusty Krab crew trying to cook, they're trying to cook Krabby Patties and Plankton's, trying to steal the formula and. It could be a shit show.
Yeah, and like I said, I think Scooby and them, they do a good job on their own. I think they would find a way to eventually have the food. Rick would have to be very strategic on how he was going to do it, but I think if he gave them enough food for them to just make sure that he ate, I think they would focus and be like, all right, let's make some food and let's get this going. Because also, I was thinking about too, real quick, since I know we got a couple more to talk about.
Yeah. There's one more. There's the bartender.
But we also got to talk about location. But no, what I was going to say was if you look at the original, or not the original, the live action version of Scooby Doo and all them, I'm pretty sure Shaggy is actually cooking in the van actually, and I think he was flipping some stuff and he was doing some weird stuff, and Scooby's like, oh yeah, trying to help, and of course they have I think the van was on fire afterwards, but, I was thinking about it like that, and I was like, I said, I could see that, if it's not animated, it just depends on how you look at it.
Their main motivator, too, are the Scooby snacks. So,
True. If you provide them a good amount of Scooby snacks, maybe you'd be fine.
You might be fine, and you might be like, hey, we need food for this party. We'll give you the unlimited amounts of Scooby snacks as long as you provide, food for the party. Whatever's left,
it's all yours.
All yours. Whatever's not eaten, have at it.
So that's the thing. They'd have to be, excuse me. They'd have to be really smart about it, and then that's where, especially when, Rick is going to be doing this. Like I said, he just needs to come up with a good plan. Yeah. Because if he doesn't, then he's going to get screwed on the food. But anyways, the bartender.
So yeah, options for bartender. So I know you haven't played, a lot of Borderlands.
No, I have not played a lot of it. No.
So I'll go kind of through the first one because Mad Moxie is one of the characters in Borderlands, and she is one of the more promiscuous characters in the game. I'll say that, but. In Borderlands 3, she actually owns and runs a bar and has served as a bartender in the other games as well. But but she is a fighter and can be aggressive. So, I mean, I don't know if that's so much what you want as a bartender, but it can be helpful depending on, some of the other, geek culture characters that might be coming to this. Like,
I mean, the next three though, they're all basically similar, but the issue is like they have their own wit and humor and different things that they do. But this, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a little bit tough. I mean, it just depends on how you want to look at it. But I mean, when you look at Bender from Futurama, literally, yes, he is basically drunk most of the time. He drinks his own beer. He then eats his beer bottle afterwards. But the stupid shit like that. I mean, he also refuses to work in general. So, like, I mean, could he, potentially not be the greatest bartender? No, because I think he'd be too drunk to probably give you a drink. He'd be like, "Oh, thanks for the drink," and like take it from you. So I mean, he would be funny, but I don't think he would be the greatest person for this job in particular.
No, I don't think he would serve as a bartender. He would want to be served.
True. Just like I'm going to go down the list here, but like Captain Jack Sparrow, right? So Pirates of the Caribbean, yes, he is again mostly drunk during most of the time that he's running around doing stuff. Probably would only serve rum. Yes, true, because of his code of ethics and everything from being a pirate. But I think for him, it would just be funny as hell. Me personally, especially if he was like walking the bar, like how is like he has that stupid fucking run that he has. That is like, he like waves his hand around. Like imagine doing that like across the bar and just like, hold on, let me get you your whiskey real quick. And he's just doing his stupid shit. And you're suddenly like, what the hell are you doing, bud? You're like, this is how I walk, And I'm like, get out of here. I think it'd be the same thing with Bender. I don't think he would be a great bartender because again, he would be very subjective to only serving you one thing, or he might be too drunk to give you anything to begin with, and he give you some useless shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think he, maybe not serving drinks, like
he'd be good for the party.
He would be probably. I mean, would he tell you good stories? I'm sure. He would be probably great for telling stories.
I would say Bender and him should be like the one sitting at the bar. Just give jokes and telling stories.
He would be the guy. They would be the two sitting at the bar that you would talk to, and they would have like stories that you would just be like, "Oh, tell me another one."
So, and that's where I would say, like, those two could be great for that piece. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, nothing else, no more than that.
Yeah, they would be the drunk sitting at the bar, but not the one behind the bar serving you. No. The other one that's on the list is Mo. He's the bartender on The Simpsons. Obviously, yes, he runs a bar in The Simpsons. But I think in the Simpsons, he mainly serves beer. I'm not sure on cocktails or hard liquor, but... And that like I don't know, so much on.
I mean, granted, The Simpsons has been around for literally 30 plus years now. I mean, he's been around for a while. I don't know if he does serve. I'm pretty sure he does serve like whiskey and maybe a few other things, but you don't see it as often because usually everyone at the bar is drinking a Duff, and drinking their beer and stuff. So to me,
would he have that capability? I'm sure maybe he would, but
he's the only one doing it. So I mean, if he's the only one doing it, and there's 10,000 people, and again, he's running back and forth. So I mean, he's asking a lot of people. Again, and I'm not saying Mad Moxie couldn't do it either, because not that I don't.
My choice personally would be Mad Moxie because she runs and owns a bar. She has been a bartender in other games. Like she knows how to be a bartender, and I mean, she can hold her own in a fight. She is, she is aggressive, but she knows how to hold her own.
All right. Well, you know what? I'll go with you. I'll go with Mad Moxie.
Mo is he's an older character.
But I mean, it's funny about him is like, when Bart keeps calling him at the bar and he goes, I can't remember what some of the dumb names that he's like, look at my wiener or lick my wiener or whatever the hell it's like. He says, he's like, yeah, is there a lick my wiener here or something like that? And he's like, oh, you son of a bitch, and he like, Bart's hangs up or whatever. But like, it's just dumb shit like that. I could see,
hey, is there a refrigerator running?
Yeah, is there a fridge running here? And you're like, wait, what? Yeah. Like dumb shit like that. But I think in the case of like, a party and, like on a bigger scale and whatnot, sure. You know what? I don't really know a whole lot about Mad Moxie, but I hope.
Yeah, I mean, she's a character like one. She's nice to look at. I mean,
whoa, hold on a minute. What do you mean by that, Matt? What do you mean she's nice to look at?
Well, I mean, literally in Borderlands 3, like, literally, I mean, she's wearing like a low-cut top.
Oh, is that right, Matt?
So she is, she is something to look at, but she is very aggressive and will fight you. If you are aggressive with her. I mean,
hold on. When you say low cut, I mean I'm looking at this one. That's pretty low cut.
yes.
That's not even just low. That's
like barely covered, but yes.
Yeah, that basically.
But she is a fighter and is aggressive, like I said. But she does know how to run a bar. So just based on the experience, I would say her, because that's kind of what she does.
She would be selling a lot more liquor than Mo would. I can tell you that, especially if you were looking at her. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Now, here's probably the most important piece to this, because I'm not saying that everything else doesn't coexist with one another. You need to have a great location. So again,
because we could have all these people,
but you need to have a big location for a good amount of people. So again, location.
So I think not starting with the places that we think would be good, but I think the places that we've already kind of discounted. And I want to start with the one that I think is probably the most location that I think no. And that's the Upside Down.
Yeah, I don't even know why you put this on the list, but okay.
I'm going to say, because, I mean, even though I think it's like a spooky and it's kind of festive in that way, it's interesting. The eerie red glow, shattery, tendrils, it could be like, that 80s kind of themed decor kind of thing. You could have almost like an escape room type, theme, escape the Upside Down, have like a, themed puzzles and riddles and do it before midnight kind of thing. No, I think it would still be terrifying.
I agree with you. I think that would be the worst place you could ever go to, and I don't think anyone would want to go there personally. So
no, I think it would still be terrifying, and people probably would die.
Yeah, and so my point is, no, I think that's probably, you're right, the absolute worst choice, because the next choice I would say is the worst choice as well is the Death Star, because how many times have they built it?
No, and one of the funny things that's I think they've actually made fun of this in Robot Chicken.
Oh, probably easily.
Where there were a couple of the characters and they were standing up on this platform, and one of them almost fell off, and he was kind of why doesn't anybody make railings in this place? Because he almost fell off. But I mean, one of the things I was looking up when I was making this list was it could be the ultimate space age disco, neon lights, massive dance floor, laser show. From that main canon, the theme cocktails were Darth and Stormy or Yoda's green juice.
Oh, that's weird.
Whatever.
Yoda's green juice, that's a weird one. But
the Death Star one, it's in space.
It's as large as a planet, because that's what they've referred that to. But I just, listen, I'm not going to want to die if literally there's a giant party with 10,000 people on it. Oh, even better. Let's kill them all.
And I doubt the Empire would want you there anyway.
And that's the point. They'd probably kill you anyways, because Darth Vader would just you're dead. You're done. Yeah. So I would say another probably not great one would be Pandora.
I think this one's interesting though.
It could be interesting, but I don't know if it's the best choice.
I think with the bioluminescence, the glowing plants, the floating mountains, there are with the Na'vi songs and the dances. I mean, the tree of life. I think there could be some beautiful things that you could experience, but there's also the Na'vi that are
completely. So they remind me literally of most of these tribes. They literally remind me of you go to a Native American tribe. Yeah. It's similar to that.
They literally will kill you
on the spot. So, and this is where I'm saying when you're looking at the Na'vi too, because there's different tribes that do different things, whatever. But it doesn't matter which tribe you're at. The problem is they're already they're 10 feet tall at least,
and there are creatures. Yeah. That will kill you.
Right.
And there are plants that will kill you.
So what I'm trying to say is now the Na'vi, again, they're about 9 to 10 feet tall.
Right.
They're tall individuals, but the issue is on top of that is, you got already all these creatures that are willing to kill you on top of them, on top of the fact that you just don't know what you're going to expect at that point, because now you're on a different planet. You don't know. And it's just, I just don't know. Besides the whole bioluminescence shit, like that's the only interesting thing that I would maybe get intrigued by. Other than that, I would not want to be here during a party, especially for the loud noise that they're about to make, especially with, the Blues Brothers and a genie. I don't know if that's really the best mix to be doing that with.
Yeah. So, I think the third runner up for me was Avengers Tower.
I mean, yeah, I can see that.
It's high tech, it's glamorous. I think, with Jarvis or Friday, they could handle the logistics.
But I think they just can't handle the people.
Yeah. So. I and that's why I think for me, like it was a no, because it's not a big place.
No, I mean you could,
and it's more of like a sky rise. It's not like a huge place. And
like I said, it's like
you can have guests like take the elevator to the roof for like fireworks or overlooking the skyline and stuff like that. But like
it's only really meant, like I would say maybe 100 people. I wouldn't probably go more than that.
You'd be looking at doing more of a multi-level party at that. You would have to have like multi levels of like like your DJ would have to be on like one floor and your band on another, and now you're separating the party by floors, right? So everybody's going to be separated, and that's really not what you want. So I really think it's really between two places, and you're really looking at two different levels of elegance. And it's really, one's futuristic, and you're looking at one that's kind of mythical and gold. Really, I think that's kind of like what you're looking at. And I'll talk about Wakanda first. You're really looking at an elegant, futuristic venue, Wakandan celebrations, dancing, drumming, storytelling. Obviously, there's probably vibranium fireworks and lighting and all kinds of like high tech New Year countdown. It could be really futuristic and really cool, but
I think for their sake, I think the problem is, when you look at T'Challa and you look at all of them, I think, well, one, they're serious. I'm not saying that they don't know how to party or anything like that. I think the issue.
I don't think they'd be down for a Sanchez party.
Well, right, and I also know that when you look at 10,000 people, I mean, granted, they have the room for sure.
Oh yeah.
I just don't see, them wanting to host a party like that, especially with all these people coming in certain individuals. But it doesn't seem like the right fit. It would be more like this is like a great wedding venue. You know what I mean? Like that would be a great wedding venue to have and stuff like that if that's what you were looking at.
Right.
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about a freaking New Year's Eve party that's going to be like through the roof, where the next one, which I think both of us can probably agree on, this is the best choice that you can make, is Asgard. So again, being a grand, mythical celebration in the halls of Asgard, completing, the flow with like mead, feasting, and epic Viking style party games. I mean, these guys were meant to party. Like these guys were already, it's like they almost invented it in a sense, because like these guys just knew how to get down and like how to do it. And yes, they're elegant in a way, but they're not, because they know how to throw a party. They know how to get down. They know how to have fun, that kind of thing, where it's not Wakanda, where it's very elegant, very like tribal, a little bit like that. But it was just more like, this is more like, you want to throw down, shit, they'll be fighting literally across the tables and ready to go at each other. So it's that kind of party where you're like, this is where like that's the Rick Sanchez, like the Blues Brothers, like all these people would be probably at their best, especially with the genie, with him being kind of mystical and, having that, abilities, having kind of like godlike powers like these in a sense. So it's like he would almost kind of feel at home. So like a lot of these people though, I think would just fit in better with this vibe than they would with Wakanda.
No, I agree. And, you look at, Loki and Thor obviously fitting right in, and,
I mean, Scooby and Shaggy would be fucking, holy shit. They're like, oh, you got what? Oh, sweet. And, they would just they go fucking town on shit. They were like, oh, what's this? I don't care. I'm going to eat it anyways. It doesn't matter what it is. And it's just, again, I think they all would bring their own kind of vibe really to this place. You know, it's just, I think, you know, you can't, I mean, I don't know. I mean, unless somebody else wants to tell me otherwise, I really think, I was like, Asgard's your best choice.
Yeah, I think Asgard's the best choice. And I mean, you're looking at the Asgard kind of their like grand hall. You know, you can easily probably fit in, you know, enough people in there to have a grand party of that size. And
right. And I mean, you could extend it all the way throughout the whole place. It's not just like you had to be in one spot. I mean, there could be multiple places that you could just continue to flow. And so like, yeah, I mean, granted, you all have to meet at the grand hall, but like, you know, you could definitely extend the party and it wouldn't be an issue.
right.
You know what I mean? Without having to worry about all these, you know, stragglers, you know, somewhere else. Kind of like with Wakanda. I mean, granted, yeah, there's plenty of fields for sure. You could just have a field party and just do that. But I think just it, like I said, being more elegant, more like a wedding venue, that's where I would see Wakanda being, you know, striving, you know, something like that. This is more like, oh, we can have a wedding, but sure, shit, we're going to throw down and we're ready to, you know, get this party started kind of a deal. You know, shit. I mean, Matt, let's go. You want to make this?
I want to go to this fucking.
I want to go to this fucking party right now. Let's fucking get this shit going, man. I mean, hell, you ready to go to New Year's with these guys, especially Scooby and them? You know,
I don't want to get swifty. That's a
You gotta get swifty. Come on, everybody, you gotta get swifty. Anyways,
they're definitely getting swifty.
Are you gonna shit on the floor?
They're definitely getting swifty at this party.
Wait, no, I'm asking. Are you gonna shit on the floor?
No.
Oh, damn it! I thought you were gonna shit on the floor. I thought you wouldn't be that guy. I thought you would be that guy that would shit on the floor. You know?
Do you really want me getting swifty in here?
I mean, shit. I'm gonna say one thing about Matt that probably most people don't know. I have actually never seen this man. Oh, actually, hold on. I don't even know if at my wedding you were considered drunk.
No.
I think you had a few drinks, but I don't think you actually got smashed. Yeah, so this man, I've never seen him drunk. I'm not saying that's a good thing. He's seen me tipsy, and he's just like, man, you talk too much. Shut up. That's also why one of the rules is that's why you don't drink before you start a podcast, because that's not a good mix. It's just not a good time. Beers are different. Hard liquor, don't do that. But anyways, guys, you know, I think for the most part, I would say if we did a good job, let us know, because I'm gonna say it. I think Matt and I did a pretty good job of like, you know, looking at everybody and kind of dissecting the flow of how this party would go.
Yeah. So just to kind of review. So we got our DJ, which is the genie from Aladdin. We have our band, the Blues Brothers. We have Rick Sanchez as our party host. We have Shaggy and Scooby as our caterer. And then we have Mad Moxie as our bartender. And our location for our party in Asgard.
I'm just saying, I think
this would be a killer party.
I would hope that everybody on this list, we could just keep doing this for a long time to come. And I would go to this New Year's Eve party every time.
Every year.
Every year. I'd be like, oh, we're switching it up. I'm like, actually, yes, Scooby's going to be the Scooby and Shaggy are going to be the host. And then, yeah, we're going to like switch it up, and Rick being like the chef. I'm Mr. Basics. Like, you know, I'm going to start cooking everything. Yeah, I'd love if they ever like switch roles. You know what I mean? Like every year they do a different role every time. I feel like that could be a disaster though, depending
I would not want Shaggy and Scooby being a party host, no. I mean, at that rate, you might as well have friggin' Bob Belcher being a party host.
I mean, it's true. I mean, I know.
Like, he has no personality. But
no, I feel like if anything, you'd
maybe SpongeBob.
You'd probably either want Stanley or Barney at that point as a party, as you know, the party host and whatnot. I mean, probably Barney Stinson, because you'd like, yeah, you know, it's legendary.
I mean, Barney Stinson wouldn't be too bad, but
no, I know, but I just again,
no, I think we. I mean, with the choices that we had, I think we made some good choices, and
yeah,
you know, like we said before at the start of the show, if you have, you know, alternatives, like you have a better band that was, you know, in a show or a movie, or, you know, some of these are for like Josie and the Pussycats we took the one from the cartoon, but if you have a different, you know, band that you know is in a movie or a TV show or, you know, something,
just let us know.
Put it in the comments, you know, send us a message, whatever, like.
Yeah, we're always open for new ideas, always looking for different things. I know a few of you in like at least Spotify have been looking at around again because I haven't seen that in a while. But like I know you guys have been sending some stuff from time to time. But we apologize. We can't. We're not always looking all the time because not something we've normally been used to. But like, I have seen it a couple of times. So yeah, we'll do our best to keep on top of it. See if we can get a hold of you. Try to talk to you and whatnot. But keep in mind, we have lives. Just like the rest of you, and we have to do stuff. It's obligation.
I mean, I really love these types of episodes. Just trying to come up with a team of potential characters. Like I love this. Like these kind of ideas. Like I think it's
it's interesting. I also I think the best part is, and this is why I keep saying this to Matt is, I think what I like is when it's always when you and I disagree or like we have to explain why we think that way, and it's like. It's trying to get the one to like kind of like fold in a sense and be like, well, fine, I guess we'll do this because of whatever. But, it's tough because there are times where, we both might think that we're one way or the right way or it's the wrong way, whatever. It's tough. It's not always easy to be like, okay, you know what? You're right. This is what it is. No, I mean, we will have different opinions, right? Just like you guys do, and that's what we try to do. We try to make things fun and interesting and all this stuff. And I know a lot of people like when Matt and I like to, to do a little debate here and there, and we get all flustered and we get into it, but we love it because we're passionate.
Passionate people. Do. Yeah, we're just a couple of the geeks from the multiverse, and just to give you guys a little heads up of what's coming up because I do want to start doing that in some of the episodes when we do have a little extra time at the end, but we do have our Walking Dead series that we're going to be doing coming up. It's going to be, I believe, a 4-week series.
So yeah, a whole month.
So we are breaking it down to a 4-episode series, which kind of breaks it down to, we're talking about the origins and world building, character evolution, the expanding universe, and legacy and impact. So it kind of breaks down. We're not going to be breaking down like every single episode in the series.
That's too much.
It's just way too much. But we're going to be kind of breaking down like how they built like the show and from the graphic novel, how the character evolved from the books to the show, and the spin-offs, and how did they expand the lore and the kind of legacy of The Walking Dead. So it'll be a good series.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and actually, I will say this. I'm not going to say too much right now, but let's just say that I'm hoping that every year, we'll keep our ideas flowing. Even some I'm not saying merch, but like some logo ideas and stuff. So I know Matt and I have been looking at some stuff. I'm hoping that we'll be able to show you guys. Hopefully, the next time we start recording, but we might have a new logo because I'm telling you. What we just came up with. I mean, Matt was a lot of the creative genius here, but I will say it looks pretty. It's going to be pretty fire, in my opinion. If the idea comes together the correct way, I think it's going to look like, I would say it's probably the best logo we've had so far. If the idea can flow as well as we think it is, personally.
Yeah, I mean it looks cool.
Yeah, and I know he's still working on it, still making sure. But I was like, I love the idea, and I'm really hoping that you guys will think so too. Because honestly, I think it's going to be lit. I think it's going to be fire. And so you guys just stay tuned for that. So, but anyways, because we're running out of time here, and we're also very tired, and so we're going to let you guys go. But until next time, boys and girls,
stay geeky.